New at 5, a DeKalb County couple bought the home of their dreams. When it was time to move in, they found strangers living inside instead. Turns out the men were no strangers to Channel 2. We first exposed their scheme nearly 3 years ago. Channel 2's investigative reporter Jody Fleischer is here now with how this is happening all over again and what she did this time to put a stop to it. Jody?
Jovita, we called the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. They monitor this kind of activity and call it paper terrorism. The suspects use bogus documents to take over foreclosed houses. But this time, the home was under contract, and the buyer emailed me for help after watching our earlier investigations into house stealing.
I fell in love with it automatically. We made an offer as soon as we saw it.
Tucked away on this upscale gated street, Crystal Cardwell's dream home comes complete with 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, a lakefront, and 2 squatters.
It was devastating. They have no regard for the law, no regard for other people's feelings.
The Lithonia home once sold for $2 million, so when Crystal found it in foreclosure in January, she thought it was a steal. Turns out it was, for Jermaine Gibson, who filed this fake deed saying the house was his, and his roommate, Varad Stewart.
I sacrificed a lot for this home, and the point that they feel like, oh, we can just take over any home and make up these wild deeds, it's ridiculous.
In 2010, it took this to get Gibson out of another Lithonia home after a Channel 2 investigation uncovered 18 fake deeds filed for properties in 8 local counties. Most of the group pleaded guilty, but 3 ringleaders, including Gibson, went to trial last fall.
And the indictment says there are victims. Where are these victims?
Elishua Yisrael helped convince jurors that taking over bank-owned homes was really no big deal, and they agreed.
Not guilty.
The prosecutor was stunned.
Our juries need to stand up and say we're going to have enough of this. And Gibson, he didn't get his lesson, and now he's emboldened to do it again.
And that's exactly what Gibson did, filing new deeds for Crystal's house and the other. The bank tried to kick him out, even changing the locks while he was gone.
I don't know how they got back in, but somehow they did something with these doors.
They tried reasoning with the squatters.
I told them, if you did this thing in the past and it was just a Bank of America or Wells Fargo thing, that's one thing. But when you see real people that are caught up in the middle of your madness, that should be like, maybe we need to stop.
The couple called police in March and waited. Then they called Channel 2.
You want to tell us why you're doing this again?
I didn't consent to this inside the courtroom, Miss Fletcher. I'm not consenting to the interview now.
All I'm doing is asking you to tell your side of things.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm in fear for my life right now. I feel threatened by your presence.
Well, what about Crystal, the lady who just bought this house, who's trying to move into it?
I might got to talk to you about that.
But they did need to talk to another judge when Crystal fought to have them evicted.
Show me the origin of your interest in this property.
When they couldn't, he ruled in Crystal's favor.
The plaintiff's allowed to have possession immediately.
And now the FBI wants answers.
Well, it was brought to our attention by WSB News. This is a crime. This is not something that people will get away with.
Agents raided the home with a search warrant and pushed local law enforcement to arrest Stewart and Gibson.
I just went to court for that and got put on that. No, sir.
With Gibson in jail, Crystal and her fiancé finally moved in Monday, but they're afraid he'll come back.
It's very frustrating. People like this shouldn't be out on the street.
Gibson and Stewart are both facing charges of theft by deception and possession of a gun during a crime. Gibson is also charged with burglary and 2 additional counts tied to those documents. He's still in jail. Stewart already posted bond.